secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Ms. Erin Carranza and Mr. Brian Hamilton. You know, folks, we're going to take a call here. We're going to go across the pond to a caller from, I guess it's England. Lewis, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
A bit of both.
Bit of both. Are you in England?
I am in England, currently in England at the moment, yes.
So do you listen to the show like on the internet at kabc.com or something?
Yeah, we do, yeah. The mother listens to the show all the time. She's quite a good follower of yours, actually.
Where, in England?
We're currently, yeah, in England, yeah.
Okay. So what's your story in question?
Well, it's a very complex case. I haven't got a lot of time to obviously go over everything, but we come over to England as a travelling family. We come back here for 2 weeks sort of holiday. And the social workers got involved here. They used a lot of the COVID excuses, but me and the mother had a lot of false allegations put against us by the social workers, that's what we call them here. And we're currently going through proceedings at the moment. We're coming up to the final hearing in October, but my son's actually an American citizen. But there's 2 children that actually been taken. We've been accused of drugs, alcohol, neglect, the full deck of cards. And, we are slowly sort of breaking down all the allegations, and a lot of the allegations have sort of gone away. They've changed their final threshold. I don't know whether you understand the thresholds.
Yes.
Yeah, because they've done an initial threshold, which they used a lot of false allegations, and now the allegations have gone away, and they're still sort of trying to push for sort of all different sorts of things and trying to find other ways to push more sort of allegations on us. Me and the mother are fighting this case against this system here. This system, with the way it sounds, what it goes on the States, is just as bad here as what it is over there. And the way the social workers lie to manipulate to actually gain, the powers to be to. Yeah, and there was like domestic violence as well, which we've been accused of as well.
In England, are you represented by a barrister or a solicitor?
I was represented by a solicitor. Currently, me and the mother have become legal events in person, which we've actually made a massive difference having a voice in court in front of the judge. And we sort of slowly sort of turn things around and, started to get listened to. But we're still sort of in a horrible situation where the kids have been taken. This was June last year that children were taken. While the kids have been in care, they've had bruises. They've had domestic abuse actually within the foster care placement. It's sort of very difficult to sort of get your head around and watch your children actually getting abused in a system where we are as well. But my question, what was to ask, is because my son's an American citizen, is there anything we can do from the States to actually get him to return to the States? Because he was on a visa until December last year, which his visa's now run out. So he's actually stuck here on an overstay in the system here.
Right. Well, there is something, actually. I'm not a solicitor or a barrister, but I do know a little bit about these international cases. There's something called the Hague Convention, Hauge,
Yep.
I think. And it's an international treaty, and I'm almost positive England is part of that, and so is the United States.
They are, yeah.
And so you're going to have to talk to a barrister or a solicitor there about making some type of motion to enforce the American, his American citizens' rights to be placed in the United States. It comes up a lot in Southern California because, we have a large Latinx or Latino population. And, Mexico, sometimes they want their citizens back, these kids. And there is a way to go through that process, but you're going to have to talk to your solicitor in your area, because it can get a little tricky, involving laws that are international treaties for the placement of children. So, but there is something that you can do. I hope your children, all of them, are placed with relatives or at least friends of the family, because I know something that's universal throughout the world, that when kids are taken by CPS, no matter what country, everybody wants these children to be reunified with parents or family. I mean, that's, one of the most basic things. And it's sometimes the hardest thing to do, even if you have a case in California and I'm in California and the kids are California. It's almost, seems like impossible. And there's roadblocks by CPS for whatever reason, placing kids with friends and family. And I can only imagine if you're in England trying to get somebody placed in America. There's so many agencies that you have to deal with. About a year ago, seems like I was involved with a case where kids, my client, a parent, wanted kids placed in Switzerland. And the case was in California. It finally happened, but my God, it was, like a roller coaster, and all the things that we had to jump through for this internet to let these kids go live and go to school in Switzerland. So I can imagine what you must be going through. Have you?
Yeah, the social workers actually here, we've actually put family and friends forward, and which they totally avoided to actually do. It's like I went to contact the other day, which we sort of had to fight for contact with the children. He turned up the other day with a bruise underneath his eyes. He's only 2.5 years old as well, so we can't really voice anything what's actually going on in the system itself. It's like a constant fight. It's a constant battle. We're always fighting against new
2 minutes
they're putting forward, which we diminished a lot of these allegations. They haven't got the real proof or the evidence to actually back up what they're saying. But in front of them, the court system here is like it's a secret court. Everything's sort of done behind closed doors. And nothing is really sort of put out.
Sounds familiar.
Really sort of put out in, nothing's really sort of put out in the open, like the truth and that. And the judge has always got to side with the local authority of what they say. It's hearsay evidence, shall we say? They just make up stories, and they have to sort of go on that at the same time. But my son, he's an American citizen, and I just wondered if there was sort of anything we could do he was actually born in Nevada, so I don't know whether it's worth sort of going out there and actually seeing a solicitor out there. Well, it's an attorney out there to maybe activate something to actually get a return order done.
The last caller I think we had was from Nevada, and I referred that person to an attorney that I work with in Nevada, and her name is Denise Gallagher. So why don't you Google her and try to find her, or try to get in touch with her and see. But also speak to someone that's a solicitor in your country about, getting the child placed through the Hague Convention, that international treaty. Hey, Lewis, I want to thank you for calling, and thank you for listening to our show over across the pond in England. Call us back in, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Give us an update. We're going to take a break right now for some messages. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. We'll be right back.